doesn't do that. This is due diligence here. Other than talking about that waning at RSI on MMAT, it seems like people are very interested in their dividend future. And what I mean by their dividend future, people are going to be asked, hey, DD, what do you think about the potential spin-off that George just did? What do you mean? A lot of people are like, what do you mean by, George spin-off? So thank you so much for Dude Zero on Discord that shared this. I think we know this, like, I'm pretty sure we knew this, like, ahead of everybody else because we're just doing research on this stock. And, but anyway, so basically George incorporated this company called, Oilco, holding August 31st, 2021. And a lot of people are attributing the FOMO on 31st as a confirmation for, the Oilco, and they're thinking that all their preferred share is going to transfer into this Oilco company. But here are some hypotheses that we can theorize. Okay, so you have Oilco, which is for profit, right here, right? It's article of incorporation. It's for profit, and what we can do is we can go and look at whether it's a S corp or a C corp or something like that. Which in this case, I didn't really pull up the thing and I was too lazy to really go and look at it. So if you guys are really interested in what the future of your dividends is going to be at, so here are a couple of situations that might arise in the next few days or month or whatever, right? So if you just want to see like the detailed dividend video, I'm going to post another one. But this one is just what's the future of dividend if spinoff actually happens, okay? So let's just say like spinoff is confirmed. So right now, if you go on George's website, right? I'm assuming that, think about it, right? I'm assuming now it's a public company. And if you go to George's website, if they're trying to do a spinoff, then it's going to be in their news. There's no official news, right? And for those of you who think, Twitter is the main source of positive, factual news, then go check George's Twitter, and nothing really happened there. He might be talking a lot about this in, Stockwits and maybe answering some of the streamers' Twitter. But technically speaking, you cannot be held liable for the tweets that you're sending out on the internet. And then there's a Supreme Court case in California, I think, that did, someone send somebody a tweet, and then the other person is saying, tweet is legally binding. But unlike email, I don't think tweet is actually legally binding, so he can say whatever he wants, really. Unless we have significant evidence to prove that, he's trying to mislead shareholders. So right now you have this corporation, right? So let's just talk about spinoffs. So if spinoff actually happens, okay, if spinoff happens. If spinoff happens, there are three situations. Situation A, all of your dividend shares goes to the spinoff company. So, there are going to be some maybe sneaky arrangement or non-sneaky arrangement. Most likely is one preferred share goes to one share of the spinoff company. So you will have, one preferred share of your dividend share, you will have one share of Oilco, right? That's a simple thing. But the problem is, if Oilco is a private company, then how are they going to massively register all of these preferred shares into Oilco, which is a private company? Like, how is that, like how does it work? Because private company does not require to file any financial reports. So if they engage in fraudulent activity, and if they just engage in certain things that, let's just say they hold on to the oil asset for another 10 years, there's nothing you can do about it, right? Or they just misreport their thing and be like, oh, we started to make money. But there's no way that you will really verify what is going on within their corporations, right? But hey, that's like just worst case scenario, right? But again, like if you go back and look at dividend agreement, if by December 31st, 2021, if Torch, TRC, the segment of Torch, the business segment of Torch, which in this case is their Oriana Grande project, right? The oil field that they have in Texas. If this thing is not sold, then all of the dividends goes to zero. This is really bad situation, okay? We don't want that to happen. Because even if it's just 1 cent of dividend, it's still going to be, a cost-based reduction for our shares. because for those of you who are on Patreon, for those of you who are on Discord, you know that the 7-day movement upwards momentum is waning, right? This RSI is waning right now. Unless there are new people or new investors or new money coming in, this might be Tuesday might be the last green day you will see for this month. But anyways, so we don't want this to happen. We don't want the all dividend go to zero to happen. So now we entered situation number B, which is in Fidelity. If you go to Fidelity's on, R-Fidelity or whatever, people are asking that, why their Fidelity MMAT shares, why their Fidelity torch shares never really converted to MMAT. So what they're saying is on June 28th, on the day of merger close, what happens is Torch and Metamaterial agreed on that day that Torch, using their oil field segment operation, they're gonna do a official public spin-off. And therefore, all of your dividend shares are gonna be transferred into this public company. This is kind of fishy because think about this. By the end of merger close, they didn't disclose anything that they're gonna do a spin-off. But in our Discord, starting like mid-July, we're saying like by looking at university lands and all of these lease agreements, and by just looking at satellite images, calling people who live next to the oil field and everything, because it's really close to El Paso, right? So we did some really sneaky sort of diligence work, and it turned out that it doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like there are active buyers, and B, there doesn't seem like there are, huge interest in buying this land, considered in order for Torch land to be operational, they need to spend at least $6 million in the land to in investment to, set up the grid for all these oil fields and everything. I mean, again, we have like people who do data consulting for oil fields, and I have mentors who's been working for Halliburton for a long time now. So we have connections, and then we have data to support. Like we know how much money you have to spend, so then the land becomes more attractive, and they can sell it for a higher price, right? So then they at least need to spend another $6 million. So if you are Torch, the segment of Torch right now, if let's just say the Fidelity hypothesis is right, you need another $6 million to really, get your things to operation and actually do a potential spin-off, right? So then how are you going to raise that $6 million from your previous shareholders? So that is kind of iffy, because think about it, right? So if a spin-off happens, that just means all of the shorts are still currently in MMAT that are locked because they're shorting TRCH before the ex-dividend day. They're sort of locked. And when you do a spinoff, all of the preferred shares rolled over to the spinoff company. And then that means all of these shorts back in MMAT right now that were previously locked, they're free, right? And then what they're going to do is, okay, come in, I will just double down my short position, I'll squash it down to $3, I cover again, and I would just rinse and repeat. Does that make sense? Like, in any situation, for those of you who really want a short squeeze, you want Torch to sell all their assets. You don't want a spin-off. Spin-off is just basically stalling, right? You can stall for another 5 years, stall by another 6 years. When they do a spin-off, that means Torch basically are separating from MMAT now. But like in formality, they're separating when a spin-off happens. But on paper, in terms of accounting, the MMAT is still carrying Torch skill well. That means when this spin-off happens, on MMAT's balance sheet, there are $217 million in goodwill that is just, I don't know how to say this in a good way, that's just gone. That is just gone with the Torch spin-off. That means all of the 200. So for those of you who are interested in fundamentals, that 217 million is just going to be like become a write-off, basically. When it becomes a write-off, it's going to reflect on the stock price. That is about $1 per share. So if spin-off happens, this stock price would automatically, the stock price of MMAT will automatically go down by at least $1 per share. So is this looking good? I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, again, all of you are telling me that I'm FUD, but I'm just, trying to present you the situation to you guys in a very objective and factual way, right? This is the second situation. And there's a third situation. A third situation is just, okay, so we have a spin-off company, and we're just using the spin-off company to sell our asset. This is actually a good situation. And when we sell our asset using, current oil price, which is $71 per share, I mean, $71 for per barrel, right? Well, actually, it's 69 to 70 right now. So the third situation is I decide to sell my assets through Oilco, right? But I don't think it's possible. I think this is a 10% chance. Because the oil field they're operating right now is not ready for sale, and then if they're selling it, it's selling it at a discount. And if they're really banking on a $3.2 billion oil field that they think $2.2 billion worth of oil, then if you're a rational business person, you'd rather spend $6 million to invest in this land and probably sell this by the end of like a 4-year period of time. We'll probably sell it at least $500 million, right? But the problem is, they claim they have this oil and never been audited, never been confirmed. And again, if it's sold by if it's actually worth $3.2 billion worth of oil, Universal Land is gonna take 20%. Greg is gonna take at least 20%. And what left for shareholders is 60% of the profit. And minus all of the fees, you're probably looking at 40%. Right? No matter what they do, it's not really a good deal unless they just sell it right away. They sell it for what, 16 cents per dividend share? It still looks pretty good. Because you don't really want to, this is a pump and dump scheme anyways. You don't really want to be in there for long. Anyways, see you guys on the upside. Hopefully this video helps. And if you guys have any questions, comment down below. And for those of you who are just leaving comments and be like, oh guys, you guys saw at the bottom, blah, blah, blah. Like, bro, look at the timestamps. There are a lot of things you can do. Like, we can just, literally what we can do is, this is literally what we did actually, like part of the money that we pulled out. We just buy $3 calls at 2.8. And no matter where we exit, we have 100% fucking premium to really gather there. Anyways, see you guys on the upside. Have fun. Okay, it's Labor Day.